to the Small Business Heroes Show, where we talk about everything to help your small business grow and prosper. I'm your host, Scott Trevethan, and today I'm talking to Su-Ann Len. Now, with 9 years of retail agency design experience, Su-Ann understands her clients' day-to-day stresses because she's been there and completely gets it. After working in design agencies, that's big and boutique, and client side, she decided to venture out on her own and created Tiny Crowd. She adores what she does. Creative design across digital, retail and marketing is basically a full-time hobby, and she loves it. Welcome to the Small Business Heroes Show, Su-Ann.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how lucky are you to to have your job and you love it so much? It's your hobby as well.
I know. I'm incredibly lucky and incredibly grateful that I get to do what I love as a job, and have managed to pick up some really great clients that are part of the family.
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I've given you a brief introduction. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about what you do and how you do it?
So Tiny Crowd is a graphic design agency. We predominantly work with the marketing team of medium to large retailers and helping them execute their marketing plan. So some of the activities we do would be email marketing design, campaign websites, catalogs, point of sale, anything the customer really sees. And we also, a small percentage of our business is also on branding and rolling out the brand across a number of touch points. And, these could be websites, business cards, brochures, email marketing. But we mainly work in the retail space.
Okay. That sounds awesome. And what part of that, what particular aspect do you love the most?
I think working in the retail space, it's fast moving.
Yep.
It's you immediately get to see your customer engagement. We do a lot in digital, so it's quite transparent, and you get the customer feedback pretty much instantly. So which makes it easy to measure.
Yep.
As well. And the industry moves so fast, and there's always new technologies, there's always new trends. So it's really interesting to kind of keep up with it. Mm-hmm. And every day is different. You could easily get a phone call from a brand saying, this product is moving slow, or we need to, do another initiative to get the customer, to inform the customer about this product, or there's been a delay in shipping, so we've got to hold off that, so we've got to change our strategy for that. So it changes every day, which makes it exciting as well.
So for our small business retailers out there, then what's more effective, digital or point of sale or hard copy or whatever we call that type of print type of advertising?
For small businesses, I would recommend definitely the digital space. It's definitely a lot cheaper to produce, and you probably get more on the return of investment on it because there's so much technology out there that is often free, which they can use. And also it's easy to measure. So if it's not working, you can just switch and try something else. Whereas with print, it's really hard to see the value that you're getting and to see the reach, and it's a lot more expensive.
Right. Do your bigger clients use print a lot? Are they the sort of letterbox type of catalogue type of work that we're talking about?
No. So a lot of businesses now are moving to digital. Because, the retail market's tough. Like everyone is fighting for the same dollar. So a lot of budgets are getting cut. So digital is growing. And I think now, a lot of brands are changing printed catalogs to only their VIP customers that do spend the money. Or being a bit more strategic on when you would use printed collateral. Not just, let's just print that, because it's a lot cheaper just to send out an email.
Right. What's more effective in terms of an email? Is it the copy that comes with the email, or is it the offer, or is it the overall design?
Um, I think with email, it's the objective, really, that first and foremost. It's got to have, like, you can't have too many messages, or else it will be more of a distraction than a call to action. And more often than not, depending on how many emails you're sending out, it's really going to be about more the content. So what's the story that you're telling that's going to resonate with the customer for them to want to click to the email to find out more or to make that purchase. So it's going to probably be more of an emotional attachment, so not rather than copy or imagery. And then the copy and imagery obviously helps tell that story for the buyer to have the buy-in to want to view more or buy that product. But yeah.
Is there something that you do in your space that can somehow motivate people to click on an email or even read a hard copy or printed ad, as opposed to if, say, I designed one myself? And if so, what is that magic?
Oh, the $1 million question. I would say really it all boils down to really listening to your customers and then measuring everything that you put out, because essentially every content, especially for the brands and the retailers, like every content that you push out has to convert to something. So we found that like shorter emails tend to work, because nowadays everyone subscribes to a lot of emails, so their inbox is full. So number one thing to look at would be your email subject line,
Right.
Before you even get to the email design. And then secondly, when they do click on it, powerful imagery really works. Nowadays all the big brands do less copy, more imagery. And then now the trend is less imagery, and just one really big, powerful one and little words. So it's really simple and easy to digest, and it's fast because people have to go through their emails. And if it catches them enough, they will click on to hopefully buy your product.
What about video? What's video's place in EDMs or the electronic marketing side of things?
Videos is definitely becoming more of the trend. It's a bit more expensive to produce, particularly for the bigger retailers, but they tend to be really great insight on like behind the scenes. So getting customers to really see behind the brand and the story, which then has the emotional attachment to wanting to be involved with that brand or to be on that trend. So a lot of brands use it for behind the scenes footage. It's more of a brand content awareness exercise, which then translates to a sale. And video content is also great for Instagram, YouTube and stuff like that.
Okay, fantastic. Tell me a bit about the graphic design industry. How robust is it at the moment? Is it being outsourced? Is it, are we seeing it being disrupted much at all within Australia or in the world?
Yeah, definitely. I think the graphic design industry is changing. There's a lot of programs out there. And outsourcing is a big one. I think there's a place for everyone. Like, I think graphic design is quite a big industry, and there's so many different, like there's retail, there's transport, there's finance. There's a lot of industries to cover, and everyone and every business needs a graphic element. So I think it's a bit of an ecosystem that we can kind of all work together. I don't think it might be a different view for other people, but I don't feel like it's a competition. As long as you have your niche and you know your audience and you're giving what the audience wants, I feel like there's enough work for everyone. And it really depends on the business. A small business I totally understand, don't have the funds to have a graphic design team. And then there's softwares like Canva, which is great for them as a starting point because they're just starting out. And then you might find that they grow bigger and they might want more support. So I think there really is a place for everyone. And outsourcing, there's a place for that as well. It depends on the training, and really, I think like one tip for other business owners wanting to outsource design is having a really clear brief, because communication is so important, and that's probably where a lot of the frustrations lie, and why projects don't turn out the way that they would like. Especially if there's a language barrier, unfortunately the designers can't read your mind, and especially when design is so subjective, there's lots of different interpretations. So yeah, that's one tip: be as clear as possible with your briefing, and that could eliminate a lot of problems.
So and great advice, absolutely. I used to work in the brand area, and that was the key thing when we were communicating with an agency, was to have a very, very clearly defined creative brief so that you get the result that's half what resembles what you were trying to get.
Yeah.
At what stage should our small business hero owners come and see an Australian-based design agency as opposed to using Fiverr or looking for an overseas cheaper option?
I think using a local designer is great if you really want to hone in on your customers and really understand their buying behaviors, how they interact with your business. I think it might be a bit harder to outsource that because they're not in the same location as you. There's certain cultural differences that an outsourced person might not understand, especially if it's a different economy situation with your customers buying from, like especially if they're in, financial stress, or the economy is not going well. Why would a customer buy from one brand from another? So kind of understanding that and knowing when to be subtle and when not to be subtle is probably a bit hard to outsource that. But then in saying, if you define it in the brief and kind of give that background, hopefully the designer will understand. But I think that was probably when you want to use a local designer, when you really want that effectiveness in reaching to your customers and being really objective with what you want. I think they'll probably have a better understanding of that.
Fantastic. Well, Su-Ann, thank you so much for your time today on the Small Business Heroes show. If we do have any larger retailers out there or other people that want to just get some advice or contact you, what's the best way that they can go about contacting you?
So best way will probably be through my email. So it's Su-Ann, Su-A-N-N @tinycrowd.com.au, and I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you just search for my name, Su-Ann Len, I'll come up there as well.
Fantastic. Well, Su-Ann Len, thank you so much once again for appearing on the Small Business Heroes show. My name's Scott Treverton. I'm the host here. If you'd like to find out more about the interviews that we've done and see some of the interviews that we've already got in place, please rush over to the Facebook group Small Business Heroes. You can also find that on our Scott Partners page on Facebook, which is Scott Partners Proprietary Limited, Pty Ltd, as a Facebook page. Or you can go to our website, which is www.scottpartners.com.au. I'm talking to Su-Ann Len. I'm Scott Treverton, and you've been listening to the Small Business Heroes show. Thanks, Su-Ann.
See ya. Bye.